I spent over 100 hours playing with every major AI tool, from ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Perplexity, and Grok. I've used them to vibe code full projects, build content, and I have an app going live on the App Store. So I'm going to walk you through every major tier, from completely free all the way up to the $100+ plans. So whether you're an entrepreneur, business owner, or a creator just getting started, this video is going to help you decide which subscriptions are really worth it for you. So we're quickly first just going to breeze through the free plans. A lot more to cover with the paid tiers. But it's important to note, with ChatGPT free, you get GPT-4o Mini Limited, you get GPT-5.2 Instant, and you get basic image gen and web search. Again, you're going to see a lot of similarities with the free stuff, but it's important to note some limitations. So with ChatGPT free, you are going to get some limitations like your access to the models. There's no memory. It's a great first model, so a lot of people are on ChatGPT. I'm going to just give it an A for it right now. All right, moving on, we have Claude. Now, Claude is awesome. I personally love Claude. When it comes to the free stuff, a lot of people using Claude are going to use it for Claude Code. So when it comes to the free stuff, you have access to Claude Sonnet 4.6 with daily cap. So a lot of the free stuff obviously is capped. You're going to have file uploads and web search. So for the limitations with Claude, you do not have access to projects. I love having access to projects, whether you're working with clients or projects or whatever. You can give a lot of context to the model, kind of hone in on what you're really working on. You have daily messages capped, and you have usage but resets every few hours. I'm going to probably put this in the B or C because we're not just going to use Claude for that. Gemini. I love Gemini. I love their ecosystem. Obviously, I think Google will probably win the race. When it comes to Google, you have Gemini 3 Flash Auto, you have Limited Thinking Pro, and you have Image Gen. If you're a creator or you're looking to create any type of creative, they have some of the best models, being Nana Banana and Nana Banana Pro. Now, when it comes to limitations, you get daily usage limits on advanced models. It's important to know, when it comes to the free stuff, a lot of this is just going to be based off kind of your feel. Who do you like going with? How do you like their ecosystem? So if you are using a lot of Google's products, right, and if you're already kind of embedded within their suite, you're going to go with Gemini. Now, I do like Gemini and all the features it has. I am going to go in the A tier, or let's actually, in fact, move it to the S tier because they're just that good, even with the free stuff. Now, when it comes to Perplexity, okay, now Perplexity, usually what I'm using Perplexity for, or did in the past, is for deep research. Now a lot of these other models are using deep research, and in fact I even use Gemini now, that's why it's in the S tier, for deep research. But when it comes to Perplexity, if you're interested in it, it has basic AI search with citations, limited pro searches, obviously with the free stuff. Limitations are 5 pro searches per day, and then single default model. So again, you have limitations. So with that being said, if I'm not going to use it for the deep research, I'm going to put it in the C bracket. Now next is Grok. Now Grok is kind of a bit of a sleeper. Not too many people talk about it. They are a newer kind of frontier lab. Grok is a great model. It's getting better day by day. Do not bet against Elon. They are still very new, but they are growing. So when it comes to Grok's free tier plan, you get Grok 3 Limited, Aura Image Gen and Voice, and you get 10 prompts every 2 hours. Grok 4 reserved for paid users, which we are getting into. So let's just put Grok here. I'm going to put it at a C for right now. Who should be in the free tier? If you're just casually using AI, if you're just asking it a few questions a day, stay on the free tier. If you're a student on a tight budget, anyone who hasn't figured out yet what they'd use to pair AI for daily, stick with the free stuff. People who mainly need help with quick writing, brainstorming, and just looking up tasks, again, stick with the free plan. All right, now we're entering into that sweet spot, the mid tier. Okay, now this is where things drastically change, and depending on what you're looking for, which I'm going to explain here shortly, this is what I would start optimizing for. So we're first going to start off with ChatGPT Plus, $20 a month. Now, this is best for people who want one tool that does everything reasonably well, right? So if that is your writing, your coding, your images, your research, your voice chat, and more, all right? Note, there is, though, a smaller tier. It's called ChatGPT Go. It's $8 a month. However, this plan does have ads in it. OpenAI is the only company to incorporate ads within their chats, okay? So you're going to start seeing ads on the free plan, and the Go plan, which is $8. If you don't want ads, then you have to move up to this plan. But to continue on, this plan also includes access to ChatGPT 5.2 thinking, GPT 4.0. Now, at this tier plan as well, ChatGPT does remember across sessions. So this is actually one feature that it does slightly do better than Claude and Gemini. Now, those other models are catching up very quickly, but if you tell it, I only want to use this certain writing, I want to use this certain thing, this framework, it will remember that across sessions. Now, this model does incorporate image generation. Now, if we're going to talk about image generation, obviously we're going to go with Gemini, but this model does include that as well. So if you find yourself pulling towards ChatGPT, do not worry, you can still develop images and creatives with this model. It has deep research. Now, depending on kind of who you ask, ChatGPT does do a great job on deep research. You have to remember, a lot of the training that was done with this model comes from YouTube, comes from Wikipedia, and comes from Reddit. Okay, that's where a lot of these models are actually pulling their data from. So you have to remember, ChatGPT does know quite a lot. So keep that in mind when you're going through this. So with this plan as well, you get access to custom GPTs. Those are the projects I was talking about with Claude. You get access to their GPTs and the GPT store ecosystem. So if you're wanting something such as writing, you can actually go on their ecosystem and kind of start using a GPT writing app that someone developed, okay, which is very cool. You have access to web browsing, file uploads, and code interpreter. Okay, so with that all being said, where does this $20 tier go? I'm going to put it in the A section. Okay, so it's a very good model. It does a lot of things for you, and again, it encompasses just a wide array of things that you can use it for. Now, who should choose ChatGPT? Number one, if you want the most versatile all-in-one AI experience, this is kind of the jack of all trades model, then this is your go-to. Next, we have Claude Pro, comes in at $20 a month. This is the so-called specialist choice. So this is best for coders, writers, researchers, or anyone working with very complex documents, and we'll talk about that in a sec here. So with this $20 a month plan, all right, you get access to Claude Sonnet 4.6 that just got released. It's the default, plus Opus 4.6, the most capable model. However, I used to be on the Pro plan, and if you're using 4.6, okay, if you're using Opus 4.6, you will burn through your credits, so you have to be careful. So if you're looking to code, this is not, unfortunately, the model for you. I would go a tier higher, which we're going to talk about in the higher tiers. But for right now, if you're just dipping your toes in, then yes, this is great for you. I would stick with more so Sonnet 4.6 instead, because you don't have much tokens or usage on this tier plan. It's also important to note, context windows at this tier plan are only 200,000. Now, I should also mention that 1 million context window is in beta on API right now. Okay, given the new models, the Opus 4.6, the Sonnet 4.6, they just released 1 million token context window. Okay, you just don't have access to it right now. Right now, you were stuck with a 200K, but eventually that will probably change to the million. So just bear that in mind. Now, when it comes to project features, that's the same thing as GPTs on ChatGPT. We can upload reference docs, we can set system prompts, and we can create organized workspaces. Okay, this is like Notebook LLM, but with the power of Claude's reasoning. Now, I love projects. I kind of use this feature the most on Claude rather than Gemini or OpenAI's ChatGPT. If you're looking to start vibe coding or coding, and you're starting to dip your toes in, then this may be the model for you. But again, you're going to be very limited in what you do because you don't have that much usage. Some other key features with this model: superior long form writing, captures tone, and maintains consistency across drafts. Again, consistency was a big issue a few months back. Now a lot of these models are actually catching up, and they're altering in real time. So consistency is not going to be that big of an issue across models. Keep that in mind. Now, at this $20 month plan, you finally have access to Claude Code, which is just the terminal-based coding agent for developers. Now, who is this pro plan for? Okay, so choose this if you're a developer, writer, analyst, or researcher. Now, note, skip this if you want image generation, voice chat, or memory across sessions. All right, now the memory across sessions is again being fixed in real time, but do not use this for image generation or for essentially voice chat. Where are we going to put this? I'm going to put this again in the A tier. It's great, but the $20 model just isn't enough. But again, for Claude, usually you're using it for Claude Code. With that being said, Claude Code in the A tier because it is good. I just don't think the $20 plan gets you that far. So now, Google AI Pro. Now, this is the Gemini Advanced. This is also $20 a month. This is the ecosystem play. All right, so if you're very bullish on Google and you use Google already, use a lot of their ecosystem, this is for you. So with that being said, this is best for anyone deep in the Google ecosystem already. Gmail, Docs, Sheets, Drive users. With this plan, you get access to Gemini 3 Pro and Deep Thinking and Gemini 3 Flash. Now, this is super important to know. This is a 1 in a million token context window. It is the largest of any consumer AI at this tier window. All right, as I alluded to earlier, Claude has only 200K. They do have the 1 million in beta just for API users at this point, but Google has the 1 million token context window. So if you have a lot of information to feed an AI, this is the best model for that. It has a 2 terabyte Google One cloud storage included into this plan, which is $10 a month, so you're saving on that value as well. It's integrated across Google Workspace, Docs, Sheets, Slides, Gmail, again, the ecosystem of Google. So if you're already embedded, I can't stress this enough, make life easier for you. If you're already embedded into the Google ecosystem, you can use Gemini at this tier plan. But tiers change, as you will see with the more expensive plans. Now, when it comes to image generation, Google has the best series. They have the Nano Banana and Nano Banana Pro series. Okay, so if you're looking to create images, this is by far the best model to go with. You also have VL 3.1 fast video generation and your flow cinematic scenes. Okay, so if you are more into the creative side, this is by far the best model once again for image and video. Now, if you've played around with Notebook LM, you get Notebook LM Enhanced. You get 5x more audio overviews and 500 notebooks. You get access to deep research, deep search on Google, and 1,000 monthly AI credits for video and image generation. The 1,000 credits go by very fast depending on how many iterations you are doing. All right, with that being said, Google Gemini takes the S tier. So Perplexity Pro, $20 a month or $200 a year. All right, this is the research engine of things. Best for researchers, journalists, students, or anyone whose primary AI use case is finding accurate cited information. This plan has unlimited pro searches with multi-step reasoning, access to GPT 5.2, Claude Sonnet, Gemini 3 Pro, and more. Now, the branch of Perplexity Labs does create reports, spreadsheets, and dashboard. Now, image generation via DALL-E 3 and Stable Diffusion. And you get 300 pro searches daily. Skip this if you need heavy creative writing, coding, or kind of any other image use case. I'm going to put this in the B tier because I find it is kind of siloed in its own use case. Now, when it comes to Grok, Grok is slowly catching up. Grok is great for real-time data, so real-time news. You can use Grok because, again, it is plugged into X. Also, Grok did come out with Imagine. I believe that is their video and image generation model. Now it's important to know, Elon says apparently there's more image generations on Grok than Gemini. So there you have a bunch of data, and again, you have to remember data is king, and Grok has a lot of that. So Grok is great for people who want real-time data. Their image generation model still does not beat Gemini. So with that being said, I will put it in the B tier. All right. However, they are a sleeper, and I think they will eventually catch up to some of the bigger models. And lastly, we have the ultra premium tiers. This is the models from $100 to $300 per month. All right, so let's go through these. So with Claude, all right, so Claude Max 5X, okay, so you have two options between your 5X and your 20X. We're going to break them down. With Claude Max 5X, you're looking at $100. You're looking at roughly about $100 per month, okay? And so what you get is you get 5X the usage of Claude Pro. So everything in Claude Pro, you just get 5X more of. All right, now who is this for? This is for your heavy daily Claude users who hit limits. All right, like I said, if you're looking into Claude, you're looking mainly in it for Claude Code. All right, that's kind of the main use case. That's where a majority of their users are using it for. And so, like I said, with the Pro tier, unfortunately, you can't use much of it. But this, finally, with the Max 5X plan at $100 a month, this is where you start to unlock the amazing features of Claude Code. This is what I'm personally on, and I'll explain why I'm not on the higher tier. And so when it comes to the higher tier at the Claude Max 20X, that is $200 a month. So you get 20x usage. This is kind of the all-day productivity tool. This is for people who use Claude 8 hours plus a day. All right, now I use it very frequently. I use it for everything, but I'm not using essentially it 8 hours plus a day. I'm not an engineer by heart. I'm not vibe coding constantly. All right, and so the max plan, yes, I will still come into limit issues, but not majority of the time like I did with the Pro plan. That's why I'm still on the 5X. If things change, I will notify you. Right, so with that being said and everything with Claude, I will put this in the S tier because, again, most users are using it for Claude Code. And you may be thinking $100 to $200 a month may be a bit of a jump from the other plans, but you have to realize the productivity unlock and the actually time saver you are getting with this tool. And so that's why it's only for people who are actually using Claude Code, because you quickly come to realize the actual time saver and the money saver you are actually getting from investing into $100 to $200 per month. All right, whether with the 5X plan or the 20X plan, depending on where you're using it for. So with ChatGPT Pro, that is coming in at $200 a month. You get unlimited ChatGPT 5.2 Pro, Sora 2 Pro, and you get max reasoning. Okay, so now with ChatGPT Pro, I believe you do get Codex. Now Codex is a phenomenal coding model as well. Now, interestingly enough, Peter Steinberger, the individual who did develop Claude Bot, says Codex is better than Claude Code. So with that being said, I'm also going to put it in the S tier. And also, OpenAI has just acquired OpenClaw. So you have to think, okay, they're going to start involving maybe some of these agents, and that's why it is on the S tier. Now, Google AI Ultra, you're looking at about $250 per month. Now, this is the highest model access, all right? You have VEO 3.1. Now, again, if you're using it for image generation or video, there are other all-in-one tools I'll recommend. So I wouldn't necessarily be using it for that. But you have 30 terabytes of storage, and you have YouTube Premium. Again, they're going to kind of embed you into their suite of tools. This is for enterprise, adjacent professionals, and creators. All right, so if you fit any of those categories, this model is for you. And you have to understand that the amount of resources Google has is the top of any AI company. So that being said, I'm also going to put this in the S tier, just depending on what you're using these models for. I think they all deserve to be in the S tier. It's just different use cases. All right. Now, when it comes to Super Grok is $30 a month, very cheap, $30 a month or $300 a year. You get Grok 4, you get deep search, you get unlimited image gen, and big brain mode. All right, this is for people who want daily AI users and who value X integration. With that being said, again, they're not there just yet. I'm going to put this in maybe the B tier. Now, when it comes to Perplexity Max is $200 a month, unlimited labs, all advanced models, and early access to new features. This is for intensive daily research professionals. That being said, I would probably put this again in the C tier. Now, just to be clear, most of you do not need the $100, $200 plus plans. I would only suggest you increasing your tier if you're hitting usage limits pretty regularly. So hopefully now you have a clear plan of what models you should be going after depending on your use case. And as always, my friends, I will see you next time.